So whose agenda should this be on? Is this the minority agenda? Is this the
This is the every goddamn human agenda. Because, like, two things you can't change: you're human, and being human has a sexuality. I don't care if you identify as asexual, pansexual, heterosexual, you have a sexuality. This human body comes with a built-in sexual system
so what
that has to do with your identity. It has to do with your genitalia. It has to do with your body. It has to do with your mind. It has to do with your spirit. All of those.
so what's your career journey look like? What have been some of the big, I guess, points or lessons you've navigated that with?
What were the lessons?
Yeah, I mean what overall, I mean what have you been um, man, just tell us a little bit more about like what your journey looks like. You said you realized that you sort of were into personalities a little bit younger. So when did um, sexual feelings start to come into play, and how was navigating those first interactions and relationships, and how is that progressing out?
That is interesting because I grew up super conservative Pentecostal. Like, not Pentecostal in the States, Pentecostal in the island. It's very different. Like, and my grandparents were pastors and the church was on our land by purpose, right? So I was in church 5 days worshiping, and the 2 days I wasn't in church worshiping, I was cleaning the church so that we could worship the next day.
Wow.
Um, so that being said, you know, I grew up witnessing exorcisms of sexual demons, of, you know, homosexuality, for example. And I just want to say I am using like very triggering language in some ways because that's how I received it and how I internalized it. And I'm specifically speaking to people who have had this experience so they know I know where you're coming from. Um, so having so much internalized homophobia, shaming around the body, right? I grew up, like I said, I had boobs at 12. So what do you do with a 12-year-old who has freaking boobs? And all the dresses for 12-year-olds aren't made for girls with boobs, right? So I would have to, you know, because of my grandparents' request, demand, right? Put paper towels inside my shirts up to my neckline, like all the way up to like my collarbone, and cover with a paper towel
The rest of your life?
the rest of my chest, right? Like anything, like nothing could show, right? Like my skirts had to be below the knee. I couldn't paint my nails. I couldn't listen to certain music because it was all pagan. um, so that level of restriction to then who I am today, right? Um, the first time a girl kissed me, I remember being like, "Don't you ever do that again." Because I had so much fear that even though we were in a room by ourselves and it was not like something I asked for, like literally I'm sitting on the computer and she just grabs my head and kisses me. um, that someone could have seen that and gotten the wrong impression and like told my family, and like there was a lot of fear around my sexuality and exploring it. And yet in high school I started looking at the L word.
And how are you when the kiss happened?
The kiss happened, I was like 17, 16, 17, right? um so yeah, it was pretty hard to have that be my first experience. And then it wasn't until I went off to college that I really felt free enough to fully explore it, and not just to explore it, but to start questioning what I grew up on. Right, like all of the beliefs that I grew up on of like you have to get married and like you have to have children and like just anything and everything that was like a taught belief. I was like, is this true? Does this have to be true? Does this apply to me? Do I want it to apply to me? And it was like I'm so grateful that I even felt like I had the right to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because some of us don't even feel like we have the right to question the beliefs that we were taught growing up. But I just kept questioning and questioning and learning more about other cultures. And I think that I'm so grateful I went to Cornell, because the amount of things you can study, it's literally like our slogan there is like a place where you can study anything, like of any study. And I got to study everything I wanted to. I got to study human sexuality across cultures. I got to study policy about human sexuality and how sex ed curriculum gets developed, and the bureaucratic bullshit of our sex ed educational system. um, and just completely unravel everything from like what I learned in sex ed class to the books that I was reading and who was writing them, right? And how anthropological anecdotes were collected. Like my researcher mind got triggered. And once that mind got triggered, it was like there was nothing I couldn't turn over and take a look inside.
Yeah, it's sort of amazing how that happens. I mean, once you, at least for me, I started studying the body relatively young. My mother was a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So I had sort of medical materials laying around. Um, but there was sports and stuff, and sexuality was something that wasn't something that I was fully like taught by anyone, but it was just always sort of like, you know, and it's interesting to think about like once that little bit of an opportunity to like read about something in sexuality that wasn't strictly rhetoric or strictly opinionated, really kind of sparked an interest in how can I get to know, how can I look at the body and more interesting things.
Yeah.
One of the things I really appreciate about art, when you look at like the Renaissance era as an example, which is probably the most known era in Western history, you see how much they celebrated the body with sculptures and pictures and paintings and all that kind of stuff, and how much detail they went into with like the muscles and the anatomy, and the
Mm-hmm.
importance that they placed on like geometrically accurate anatomy.
Yeah.
Really show like a love and a care for the understanding of the imagery behind what body is.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where my research started and continued to develop and became more and more passionate.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because currently, like my photographic addiction, um, and it's been this way for the past couple of years. I'm obsessed with the lover's gaze,
Mm.
right, and like capturing the lover's gaze, um, and just throughout history, like in Hindu and Chinese art, there's a lot of capturing of that lover's gaze in the art, and it's my current thing that I've been trying to capture in my own life
Yeah.
is the lover's gaze. Yeah.
So what would that look like?
Well, I have a picture I worked on.
Uh,
Um, but like I think I like taking like really candid pictures, and then kind of playing with light and dark to kind of
oh, that's nice.
capture a little bit of the gaze, or like even here there's like our eyes aren't even open, but there's just something about
Mm.
the positionality of like two beings magnetically connecting energetically, whether that's through the eyes or just like energy,
Some sort of sensitive.
that I live for that shot. um yeah, these days.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, like a perfect working relationship situation.
Like a work relationship or like a relationship
Your
relationship?
whole life. So with work.
Oh, okay. I think I have a pretty good setup right now. I'm pretty close to like ideal. um I think, I get to live right by the ocean right now. So that's an ideal setup. And continuing to expand the work that I do, helping more people, I think, is always my goal. But at the same time, knowing that I am making as much of a difference in the world by helping more people as I am by just focusing on me, right? Because I'm just a reflection, right? So yeah, I think I would have a bit more clients. I like fill my roster up a bit more. Um, but it feels pretty ideal. I have an awesome new partner in my life who I could not be more happy with and thrilled about being in relationship with. I am developing family, and that's very poly, very unorthodox. Um, and I would just continue doing that, building community and building family, and building up the businesses that I've fully committed to bringing into this world. Because they're in many ways extensions of me, and that like uh, it's almost like a child, but a gift at the same time that doesn't belong to you, but you hold it so close to your heart. Yeah.
It's it's pretty.
So I tell people nothing of mine is mine. Like, not the material, not what I say in a session, not this interview. I truly try to be a channel of truth, a channel of the collective, with the personality of Dieniz sprinkled in.
You recently started a podcast. That's about it.
I did. So one of my businesses is Queer Cultures, and through Queer Cultures, we started a podcast. It is a quest for wellness, a podcast for the rainbow. That is the name of it. You can find us on Anchor, and you can also, at the time, find us on Spotify. And that is really a podcast about wellness, about what does it look like to pursue wellness as someone who is queer, POC, gender nonconforming folks, living in 2020. How do you navigate queer love? How do you navigate queer family? How do you deal with the very issue, like even what we're talking on today's episode here about is the body, and how do we relate to that, and being a company that focuses on wellness, and specifically for a community that is transitioning, right? Or like living in this, most likely, like most of the people that come to us is like they're transitioning, or they've transitioned and they're like trying to find like the fullness of who they are right now, now that they've transitioned. There's not that many resources out there on like how do you manipulate your body as a vegan to build muscle, or how do you take supplements that, or eat foods that are estrogen producing or testosterone producing. And there's just so many like different layers to wellness, right? Financial wellness, like the queer community, we are struggling with money, y'all. And this is coming from the community, and the assessments that we've done. It's like, okay, we want to bring tools that feel good to you, and it's not necessarily tools that are queer, right? It's tailored in a way that resonates to the queer community, that acknowledges their needs and their lived experience having been different.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're on episode 2. Episode 2 dropped today, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear that. I listened to episode 1, so I'm excited to hear what you guys do with that.
Yeah. Episode 2 is all about queer love. And in there, we go deep. We talk about our own experiences and where we are right now, right? Because like there's nothing that can get people's attention better than like what's alive and happening in your life right now. And for me, it's how do I love this person who is very new in my life to the best of my abilities, in a way that meets their needs, in a way that meets my needs, in a way that keeps my vision of family going, right? And what if they're not for this vision? Right? Because like that's one of the most vulnerable things that we can do, is like share our vision with another human, because they might not see it, they might not believe it, they might not agree with it. And I'm about living in the orange zone of life, right? It's like there's the green is like real comfortable, and the red is like, please don't go there, because you might harm yourself by going into red and like taking on more than you can handle. But that orange, I feel like is the sweet spot. Light orange, not that dark orange. The light orange.
Light orange.
Yep.
The first Goku power up.
Yep. And it's so good, right? And it's like living in that space of like growth. Like I think that that's really where we grow and we're like, oh, okay. And the more, for me, the more vulnerable I am, even with doing this podcast and hosting my own podcast and like sharing my shit there, I think I can only but be an example to others. Right? So do the Facebook Live in the middle of the day without having any plan on what the hell you're supposed to say. Jump on the podcast without even knowing what the podcast is about, right? Like, and simply because the invitation was made, simply because the universe somehow orchestrated to say, this might be for you. Try this. Look over here. And when those opportunities present themselves, I'm like, I'm listening. I'm here. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yas, queen.
Yeah. Y'all definitely took over. Yes. So for my last segment, my last bit, I wanted to do an association. So
A what?
an association. So
Okay. Association.
I ask you a question, and these are like quick response answers. So like the first
Okay.
thought that comes to you.
Okay.
And if you like, we can do a reverse. And you can do the same.
Okay. Okay.
Question one. What's your favorite part of your body?
My tits.
What is something that you're uncomfortable with about yourself?
It's sometimes hard to explain to people that although I look really great, I live with chronic pain every day and what that like feels and looks like on a day-to-day basis in terms of limitations sexually.
What is your favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert? Jesus. Right now, I would have to say it is the vegan tres leches that I did for my birthday.
Mm,
Yes, that was delicious.
that was it. Um, hot or cold?
Hot, all the way.
Spicy or mild?
Spicy.
Submissive or dominant?
Switch.
Switch. Um,
For those of you who do not know what switch means, it means that I do a bit of both.
uh, hard or soft?
Soft.
Tall or short?
Short.
Short. Okay.
Okay.
What's something you love to see in someone else? Your favorite thing to see attribute wise in someone else? What do you
Like physically or physically? I really enjoy people's eyes. Yeah.
What's a way people can uh, use their bodies to feel more attractive?
Use their bodies to feel more attractive. Touch it. Anywhere. Your skin is literally your largest sex organ. and your brain is the most important one. So thinking about touching your skin and then touching it and just like going down that road with yourself, lots of fun.
And that, folks, touch it, tease it, touch yourself, please it.
And just like acknowledge yourself, right? Like acknowledge your soft skin if you have soft skin, acknowledge your clear skin if you have clear skin, acknowledge your curls if you have curls, like anything and everything that you look outside of yourself and find someone else to be beautiful in that way, look for that within you because it's there. It's there.
It's totally there. And typically it's there in the moments that you're not paying attention to yourself.
Right. And that's just the universe having a laugh.
Yeah. That's when I did my workshop at SDS time, one thing I said, the photo that you like the most typically isn't the photo where you look sexy. It's when you're like at the club, you're at the party, your mouth is half open, you're singing this song that is your favorite song at the moment, and you're 3 drinks in, and you're like, that's your favorite shot.
Yeah.
Because that's the moment that you were really you.
Yeah. Out of control.
You were out of control. You didn't care about anything else. You cared about having fun being the moment. Just loving it.
Yeah.
In that space.
I think when you ask the question about like what attribute do I like seeing in people the most, like I instantly jumped like my mind to like joy. Like when you can just see like bubbling joy come out of a person for like no reason. I'm just like, that's a happy human. They got it figured out. Thank God.
Cool. That was a good little fun.
Yeah.
Did you have any, or are you
words to?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, some words. I'm coming for words based on my vision board that's in front of me. Okay? All right. First word. Mind over.
Matter.
Stack it.
Tall.
Power.
Lift.
Life.
Live. Learn. Love.
Like it. Gratitude.
Always.
Magic.
Sex.
Black.
My first thought was dong.
Doll?
Dong.
Dong. Okay, like it. Green.
Green. Leaf.
Goddess.
Devoured.
Love.
Cereal.
Body.
Beautiful.
And I'm done.
Nice. That was fun.
It was. Literally, all these words are just like on my vision board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My house is my vision board. I don't actually just have one.
I just have one because I created it in a group project a while ago, and now it serves as a good shade for when it's sunny as hell in my direction, which I am not complaining about. Thank you, Lord, for all the sunshine. Because I like it hot. When you said that, I was like hot all the time.
Right?
I am a vata dosha. I'm like, give me heat all day, every day.
I'm with that. I'd rather
Yeah.
be too.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you coming to my podcast. Thanks so much for staying tuned to this episode of Love Thy Body. We had a great conversation with these, and we appreciate you staying tuned and listening. Make sure you like, comment, let us know what you thought. Um, Also, if you like to make out what you see here, make sure you go check out the website, artistskywin.com, and comp yours. And yeah, until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.